Here are 3 ways of using social proof in your marketing. As you and I know, social proof is really powerful. We've seen the growth of review sites across the internet. We've seen comments on social media making such a difference to people's lives and to people's businesses. So let's look at the 3 major ways that we can use social proof to our advantage, our appropriate advantage, to show people what it is that we do actually works for other people and therefore is likely to be able to work for them. The first one, which is obvious, you and I are using it, I'm sure, all of the time, is testimonials. I love using testimonials from previous and current happy, satisfied clients who are actually getting the results that they came to me for in the first place. And wherever I can add detail in there, then that can bring that testimonial to life. Let me give you an example of where I use testimonials massively. And that's if I happen to be running a seminar, not necessarily a webinar, but a seminar. With a seminar, historically, and funnily enough, I'm playing some at the moment, I've used over 100 testimonials on the landing page. Why would I do that? Well, I learned from Stuart Goldsmith, a friend and brilliant marketer, many years ago from his direct mail, that he was using extra pages, 4 extra pages of testimonials that rode along with an 8-page sales letter and all the other elements that were included in a piece of direct mail. And I spoke to him and I said, Stuart, why so many testimonials? And he talked about social proof. People are often prompted to take action when they see others like them who've taken the action suggested and got the result they were looking for. And there's an important point here about those testimonials. They need to be matching testimonials. So if you're marketing to a diverse group of people, then it's necessary to have a diverse group of testimonials that match with the person who's reading them. So it has to be that they look at those people in the testimonial and go, yeah, that's like me. The second type of social proof that we can use is case studies. And the way I like to use this is to send a dedicated email, which is one of the many ways, of sending a dedicated email out with details of that case study. So my current clients, people who are on my list, can read about that. They can read about the successes of, again, someone like them and say, well, if it works for them, it could work for me. So then they are maybe prompted to fill in the survey, which might be the call to action at the back end of the case study. The case study wants to run along these types of lines. It wants to state what was the problem that the client had before we were acting with them. It wants to state the downside, the problems that problem was creating for them. Was it creating a lack of money? Was it creating other challenges in their life? So not only must we state what the problem is, but what the downsides were as well. Then details of the intervention, or in other words, what did I do for them? What happened because of that? Proof that it took place, and then possibly a call to action. So it's the problem, it's the downside, it's the intervention, it's the upside, it's proof of the upside, and then it's the call to action. So that's a powerful way for a case study. And the third one, not often used, but really powerful, is to use what's called the wisdom of crowds. In other words, it's putting in appropriate numbers, subject to the marketplace we're involved in, putting in appropriate numbers of what we've done for other people, in the sense it might be the level of results they've achieved, or the level of results we've achieved if what we're promoting is that we can show people to do what we did. Let me give you an example of it. Years ago, I launched the Achiever's Edge, which was an audio newsletter originally out on cassette tape, would you believe, then on CDs and paper-based versions and online, and it morphed into various other iterations. Today, it's the Achievers Club, and so it's an online webinar-based program with also a vault of information. Once I'd been running the Achievers Edge for some years, I did a look at the numbers, and we had supplied 260,000 copies of the program to fellow achievers worldwide. And so I used that number in my marketing. We need to be careful with this for a number of reasons. Firstly, it must have verisimilitude, in other words, the appearance of truth. And there's a fine line to draw between boasting and promotion. You'll have seen, as I've seen, people who are talking about the level of income that they've achieved from doing what they do. And I have no problem with that, but it has to be believable. So those are three different ways that we can use the power of social proof. Number one is testimonials. Number two is case studies. And number three is obviously using the wisdom of crowds. There's plenty more of my videos around here, so if you've enjoyed this, there's plenty others to have a look at. And in the meantime, I continue to wish you every success in all your adventures in life. From me, Peter Thomson, until the next time, goodbye for now.